Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Andrew Richter Show. Today
He's Andrew Richter.
Yeah, right. He's Andrew Richter, and I'm Dennis Holman, your guest host for the day.
And I'm Jerry Lindberg, your guest. What
Commentator. You're a
For
commentator. And he is the author extraordinaire
of
as well.
The Fingerprint of God, which is doing quite well, thank you.
Had to bring that up.
Yes.
And it's always nice. Oh, I'm sorry. It's always nice to be a guest on my show.
And I was going to say, and here we have Andrew Richter, whom we all know.
Andrew, try and be charming this time.
Well, I jump the gun. I get excited when we talk in the studio.
People are tuning in for your charm, so.
Yeah. I thought it was my smile and good looks.
No, actually,
it's not.
They're information gluts, and they want to know what you have to say.
I wish, a man can dream, can he?
A man can dream. Yeah. In your case, you've been accused of dreaming a little bit too much and too often.
Anyhow, on to business.
Yes.
On to business.
On to business. We are here to discuss the latest events here in District 281. And the big news that we want to share and discuss to start here on the program is their proposal to create a magnet school in addition to the schools they already have. And there's two proposals from the December work session. One is called a STEM program, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. The other is...
This must be a high school program.
And no, this is elementary school, yes.
Elementary?
We have elementary engineers we're going to train.
Oh, okay. I want to hire one of those.
Yeah. As soon as they stop learning how to count on their fingers, they're right into an engineering program.
Well, okay, if you can get from 1 to 10 and navigate that, then you're an engineering prospect.
No question.
No question.
Anyway, also they're considering taking the Spanish immersion program and either expanding that at the current site of Sunny Hollow Elementary or using one of their vacant buildings, which we just closed, to expand that as well. So that's the proposal that it's kind of a pet project of some board members who will remain nameless and a few other things to, the theory behind it, although I don't quite buy it, is to either retain more of their own students or win them back, which doesn't make sense. If you've left the district, I don't know why you'd come back, or to get people who don't live here to come to 281. So kind of contradictory goals, in my opinion.
Here's my question. Who are they competing with?
Well, in their minds, now...
No, be careful with this answer because there is no right answer on that.
That's right, of course. There's never a right or wrong answer, is there? I think that they feel that, and I don't agree with this, but they feel that open enrollment is competition, that choosing between public school A
and public school B
is choice.
That's competition.
Yeah.
That's choice. Okay.
And in a way, they're...
Wait, do I want vanilla from store A or vanilla from store B?
Yes, or a Happy Meal from Robbinsdale McDonald's or Crystal McDonald's.
There you go.
Which one do you prefer?
I prefer the Crystal.
Yes, so do I. I live very close.
I have preference.
It's a great debate that they have in the bowels of public education.
And it's really strange because they've made this, one of the things when they closed schools, they made this big deal about having neighborhood schools, having a geographical balance. And what they're promoting through this is to leave, I mean, when they talked about neighborhood schools, they were, borderline orgasmic about it.
Especially over at Pilgrim Lane.
Yeah.
So they closed it.
Right, and that's, we'll get into that, but I mean, it's a whole thing about they wanted neighborhood schools and now they're encouraging you to not go to your neighborhood school and go to some fad or...
You're thinking that perhaps public education is supposed to make sense.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Again, there's another one of those...
Again, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole art of, you mentioned competition. I mean, the whole thing about choosing between two public schools masquerading as competition. And I think, one of the reasons that there is not this public demand or gripe is that they have sold that as, well, you do have choice. You do have, you want to go to Osseo, you can go to Osseo. Well,
Open enrollment.
Right.
You've got choice. You can go to public school A or public school B. But just so people know where I'm coming from, and I have come from for 20 years now, competition in schools actually is a good thing, folks. It's something that would encourage school A, maybe a private school, to compete openly and actively against school B, perhaps a public school. And the winner, of course, in these scenarios would be the parents and the students who would have this is a bold new concept, the choice of actually going to maybe a Catholic
Yeah, I was going to say,
school or a
don't you
Lutheran school.
inject God into this?
You know, and there's the nub of the problem right here, folks, and that's this thing right here. Somewhere along the line, we lost the debate publicly that the separation of church and state is something that is supposed to be surgically acquired or legislatively acquired. The founding fathers, of course, said that the
Founding persons. Founding persons.
Oh,
founding persons.
Yes. Remember, I went to high school in the 90s, so I got injected with founding persons.
Founding persons. The founding persons had a codicil in the founding document which said that the church and state should be separated. And believe it or not, we on the right believe that that is true. Church and state should be separate. There should be no forced marriage between church and state. However, the founding fathers never said that church and state can be separate. It would be no different than me asking you to adhere to your faith, but ignore your faith at the same time.
Yeah.
Faith is something that is inbred in people, whether you have a faith or not.
Right. You don't drop it. It's part of who you are.
You can't leave your faith at the schoolhouse door.
And again, when it comes to education, what is wrong if a parent wants faith taught with education?
I'll tell
Isn't
you
that
what's
the
wrong.
parent's choice?
I'll tell you what's wrong, and what has been inculcated into our society over the years is that your neighbor finds that objection or can find that objectionable.
That's the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not offend.
Thy neighbor.
Yes.
And in particular,
somewhere.
for example, just give you an anecdotal story. Right after 9/11, one of my son played for Armstrong baseball, and one of the mothers on the team said that, I hope this whole 9/11 thing doesn't inject a lot of God into our schools now. And it's one of those moments where I'm not going to argue with the woman, because in her that's between her and her conscience. What she sees.
Arguing wouldn't do any good.
No, it wouldn't do any good.
No.
So consequently, the false notion in competition is that they're going to teach this and only this at a lot of schools. And that's not the case, nor should it be the case. However, my neighbor may find the prospect of this being in a competitive school to be so objectionable, so onerous, that they will go to no ends to see to it that church and state are surgically separated. The founding fathers never intended that. And that's where really the debate is heading.
Well, there's a lot of things the government does I don't think the founding fathers intended. That's just my guess.
Well, we'll get
right
into
there.
federal
Yeah.
budgets here in just
We'll
a
get
minute.
into that.
It didn't even envision.
Yeah, no
much,
kidding.
Much less intended.